that housing plays in the social and economic development of a country cannot be underestimated. Interventions in housing by government are widely acknowledged as one of the ways by which the social aspect of the life of the citizenry can be impacted, especially through mass housing, otherwise called social housing. But the big question is, what is the core role of government in housing provision? Should the government be involved in direct construction of houses? How about rent payment for those who cannot afford to own a house at this time? Should it be on monthly or annual basis, which is more convenient? Welcome to another informative edition of Housing Development, a program that answers all your housing needs. I am Fleur Ani, your housing diva. Before some housing professionals give answers to the questions I stated earlier, let's visit our news desk for trending news. I'll be back shortly.
The Nigerian Society of Engineers has charged engineers on innovative solutions for job creation to mitigate the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the economy. Speaking on the topic, leading engineering innovations in the 21st century, role of professional associations, former NSC Ikeja branch chairman Mr. Kunle Adebajo urged engineering bodies on the webinar to create platforms that would drive new inventions. He said that Nigeria was a fertile market for engineers to come up with inventions to solve the various societal problems capable of creating mass employment in the nation. The Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, CUREN, has pleaded that the engineering regulations monitoring teams nationwide be given maximum cooperation and unrestricted access to engineering facilities and project sites while conducting their official assignments. President of CUREN, Engineer Ali Rabiu, at the recent virtual international conference and exhibition on power and telecommunications, said it was evidently clear that emerging technologies could significantly improve the living standards of people in many ways. The College of Fellows of the Nigerian Institute of Building, NIOB, has fixed November 12th for its 2020 Annual Fellows Assembly, Dinner and Induction Nights. In a statement made available to Africa Housing News, this year's event is to be hosted by the NIOB President, Builder Kunle Awobodu, and Builder Mrs. Adebolanle Araba, and will be taking place at the Ladi Kwali Hall, Sheraton Hotel, Abuja, and will be chaired by the immediate past president of the Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, APBN, Engineer Olumiyiwa Ajibola. The event is expected to be graced by the founder of Afe Babalola University, Ado Ekiti, Afe Babalola, SAN, who shall also be conferred upon an honorary fellowship award among other deserving individuals. Freddie Mac's net income rose to $2.5 billion in the third quarter of 2020, up from $1.5 billion in the second quarter. The company delivered strong earnings on higher revenues, substantially increasing their total equity by $2.5 billion to $13.9 billion, bringing them one step closer to their goal of responsibly exiting conservatorship, rent, and remaining in their homes. Net revenues also performed well in the third quarter, increasing 22% from the second quarter to $5.1 billion. Net interest income increased 20% to $3.5 billion, primarily driven by growth in the single-family guarantee portfolio and higher upfront fee income recognition due to faster loan prepayments as a result of the record low mortgage interest rate environment.
Hello, my name is Emilko. I'm Senior Special Assistant to the President on Infrastructure. Keep watching Housing Development Program. It's a platform that shares information on housing for Nigerians, and it's also a platform the government has used to be able to engage Nigerians. Kudos to the producers of this program.
Keep a date with Housing Development Program every week on AIT. Housing Development is the first and pioneer housing program in Nigeria and by extension Africa. It remains the authentic voice of the Nigerian housing and construction industry. Housing Development is the only credible and specialized platform for seasoned professionals in the build industry, where quality and credible players in the real estate sector meet to interact, showcase, and analyze government policies, it is no doubt that hundreds of thousands of prospective Nigerians who desire to own their personal properties have done so through the assistance of Housing Development Program in the last 10 years. If you are a stakeholder in the build industry, here is where you must be. We are authentic, credible, and supported by all the leading professionals in the build industry. Housing Development on AIT.
You're watching Housing Development. For more housing, construction and finance news, visit www.africanhousingnews.com. The construction industry is a vital part of a nation's economy, and the government must play a vital role in the delivery of housing provision. But the question is, what is the role of government in housing provision? Should government be involved in direct construction of houses as a result of the huge housing shortfall in the country? Well, these housing stakeholders have this to say.
Housing provision is not a knee-jerk reaction issue. It's not something that you have to start now and it must actually happen now. It requires strategic approach. There is short, medium and long-term strategy that should be in place, and I'm not sure we are actually in that stage yet. We are still in a situation where government thinks the priority for providing housing is for government to directly engage in housing production. That is nonsense. That is not proper. There is no jurisdiction all over the world where that has been a success. You know, in United Kingdom, in the US, even in Singapore, everywhere you see, the government provides the enablement through incentive structure for participants, whether they are social institutions, they are private developers, or they are government parastatals that want to get involved in housing. The incentives have to be there. In the United Kingdom, it is through a structure of subsidy, targeted, at delivery, performance. That is what we need to do. And until we go back to that, we're just wasting our time. Government has no business in direct production of houses.
My name is Femi Adewale. I'm the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of the Family Homes Fund. I endorse the Housing Development Program and the impact that is making in providing information about housing in Nigeria.
These stakeholders are of the opinion that government should focus solely on its core responsibilities of creating an enabling environment for business and investment to strive through effective legislation and enforcement of policy, as this will help better the sector. Alright, moving on. For people who pay rent, of course it is their dream to become landlords someday. But this will take a lot of conscious effort with the present economic situation of the country. However, a vast majority of the population live in rented apartments, groaning under the weight of rent payment, either monthly or annually. Which method of payment is more convenient, by the way? Let's get more from this report.
Having a roof over our heads is one of the most basic of human needs. This need is usually met in the form of owning a house or renting one. The final decision on which to settle for depends on income level, current financial well-being, or pure preference of an individual. That said, owning a house of one's own is a culturally significant status, especially in Nigeria. As such, it is a dream for most people to become landlords one day. Reality is, however, different from dream. Research has shown that majority of Nigerians who are urban dwellers live in either free houses or rented apartments, so making a financial decision on house rent payment is an annual recurring event for most people. Unlike some other cities around the world, rent in most parts of major cities in Nigeria is paid upfront annually. This annual payment is a financial shock to most people. Because rent payment is done once a year, majority do not bother about rent until about a month or two before the due date. This is usually not because they do not care, but because of a belief that they would get to pay one way or the other. Also, the economic situation in the country is a contributory factor. The toughest month for Nigerians who pay annual rent is the month rent are due for payment, the rent month. Landlords feel the pains when overdue rent are not paid, and tenants feel the shame for not being able to meet their rent obligations. This gets really ugly most times. Payment of rent in Nigeria has been a big issue in the country. The nation's large population and high urban migration rate has led to an increase in demand for more houses, especially rented apartments. Cities like Lagos and Abuja have seen prices and rent increase significantly over the years due to limited availability of houses and high demand from renters. The average working class Nigerian cannot afford to pay for his or her rent comfortably, not to talk of the unemployed people. Many Nigerians borrow money just to pay their rent, as this is usually a 1 or 2 years payment, as the case might be. On the other hand, meeting up with one's annual rent is possible by saving monthly as a way to free oneself from the dreaded month of rent payment. However, there is a solution for yearly rent payers. If people can save up to 25% of their monthly income into a separate rent plan account, they will automatically have enough to pay annual rent after 12 months. In these hard economic times, coupled with the high unemployment rate in the country, questions have been asked as to why the government can't create and implement a policy for monthly rent payment. It has been argued that since Nigerians get paid their wages monthly, why then are people made to pay rent yearly? A lot of Nigerians believe that if a policy is put in place to enforce monthly rent payment in Nigeria, life will be much more easier for the masses. The question now will be, how beneficial would this be for the landlords?
My name is Kabir Ainde Tukur. I am the Managing Director of Cooperative Mortgage Bank. Keep watching Housing Development Program. They have the answers to all your questions pertaining affordable housing.
Are you looking for the perfect opportunity to conveniently explore a variety of available houses, mortgage options, housing schemes, and a host of others who are more than ready to provide you with all essentials in the home buying process? Look no further, as the virtual Abuja International Housing Show Exhibitors platform is still open to all. Connect with credible estate developers with genuine housing projects. Meet mortgage banks for your mortgage needs, home interior companies, amongst others. The platform lasts till July 2021. Visit www.ispo.net/ARHS2020. Register and log in for easy access. Don't miss out on this great opportunity.
Welcome back. If you're just in the program, is housing development, and we're discussing monthly or annual payment, which is more beneficial for the masses. Now it is time to go into the street to speak to some renters on which they feel is more convenient, paying rent monthly or annually. I'll be right back.
The system they adopted in Kaduna was more of a monthly payment, and I think considering the situations of what we are facing, sometimes you will be budgeting, planning for your house rent for a year. That month that you are supposed to pay for your house rent now became a problem. So, but I believe if government can implement the monthly rent, it will be more convenient for the tenants, because the tenants can decide to pay upfront. You have money this month, you can pay for 2 months or 3 months advance at least, and it will enable you to plan more and to pay it an affordable rent.
Better yearly, but conveniently monthly for those who earn salary. As a salary earner, you can easily deduct your monthly rentage, but better yearly.
If you are yearly renting, you can plan ahead, and it will be easier for you to save. But if it is monthly, we have a lot of workers whose salary doesn't come at when due. So if you are paying monthly and you have challenge of non-availability of money at that point, it becomes a problem. But if you have to be yearly, you can work ahead towards it by receiving gradually. Before the year is out, you'll be able to offset it.
This annual rentage is counterproductive because one may find himself in a situation where he may not need to stay at a particular place for a whole year. Maybe 3 months, 4, 5, 6 months. Then you can now pay for the number of months you want to stay, and then you leave the accommodation. So if there's a law making it compulsory that rentage has to be on annual basis, it's not the best. And secondly, if you have to pay annually, the amount involved is usually high. So, and with what is on ground in this country now, many people may find it difficult to gather such money to be able to pay for annual rentage.
Paying monthly, he may not meet up in monthly. Based on the job that you are doing, he may be disappointed on one thing or the other. So when you pay yearly, even though you are disappointed, you can be able to meet up before end of the year.
I am Dr. Sam Dogu, Senate Committee Chairman on Housing. Keep watching Housing Development Program.
Inspired by movements of the arts and crafts period, the Urban Shelter Residences Dawaki was birthed with a vision to create a masterpiece.
The Urban Shelter Residences Dawaki is a very unique project.
We've actually increased the window to wall ratio of the houses, thereby allowing them to breathe naturally.
The functional part of the undulating form is also to help direct air movement within the building.
Also increase the headroom for these houses to accommodate for natural convection within the houses.
Located just opposite the Gwarimpa estate and just around the Gwarimpa Katapi Extension interchange, is less than 10 minutes from Central Business District. Each of the houses come with spacious and generous room sizes, but much more than that, it's going to be a very sustainable estate with a smart home automation built into it.
Urban Shelter Residences Dawaki is at the center of a new vision that sparks the minds of intellectuals. Urban Shelter, set the pace.
What really works for you when it comes to fixing stuff around the house? When you call the electrician and never seems to pick up his phone? Or the plumber that stays halfway across town and tries to do for something you have no idea about? Or do you prefer to bypass them all and try getting things done on your own? In the end, we often go for what works best. But do these really work? We've put together a team to address this problem. Solution: SiteWorks. We created a marketplace for artisans, suppliers, and skilled laborers where you can request for your building materials, repairmen, and construction services. We've brought all these and more to the convenience of your phone. Pretty awesome, yes? It's easy. Download the app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store and sign up today. At least now you know what doesn't work? Sign up now on what works. It's SiteWorks, a marketplace for all building materials.
Voices from the street there. You've heard the opinions of some Nigerians on which payment plan is the best when it comes to house rent in Nigeria. On the issue of rent payment in Nigeria, did you know that you can actually own a house with your rent money? Architect Ahmed Dangiwa, the Managing Director of Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, will speak more on the rent-to-own scheme by FMBN.
Rent-to-own is most of these are funded estates. Once you are packaged, you go in while paying your rental income. The houses is becoming your own. At the end of the day, by the time when you have paid the entire, through your rent, you are able to pay for the house and the house becomes yours. It was launched early this year, very early this year, and so far if you go to Kaduna State SDPC estate, which was built in Millennium Estate, the whole of those 263 houses were on rent-to-own. It was packaged by the Trade Union Congress and Nigeria Labour Congress of Kaduna State, who approached that they want those houses under rent, and we gave it to them. If you go to Yusra Estate in Katsina, if you go to many states of the Federation where we build estate development, ministerial power houses schemes, they are under the rent-on. It's a better option than the normal NHF in the sense that in package inside the rent-on, there's an insurance package inside it, whereby insurance usually covers you. In case there is fire in the house, insurance will come and repair your own house. In case there is a demolition of the house due to windstorm or whatever, the insurance will come for it. In case of death, the insurance will pay on behalf of the house. Even if you've started paying for 1 or 2 months and you died, the insurance will pay the entire cost of the houses for you and give you the keys, and then they will pay the FMBN that amount of money. Currently, we have over 20 states that will have constructed houses that are still standing.
Architect Ahmed Dangi was speaking on the rent-to-own scheme for NHF contributors. It is countdown to the Nigerian Housing Awards 2020, an annual event that celebrates the success of firms, individuals, teams, and companies who are setting trends in innovative construction, consistency in high industry demand in the housing and construction industry. The nominations and voting for this year's award is currently ongoing, and you can participate via Nigerian Housing-Constructionawards.com. There are more than 35 categories who deserve to be celebrated in the housing, construction, and finance industry. Let the countdown begin. I'll be back in a moment.
This is Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts on Facebook, Housing Development Program, on Twitter, Housing Program, on Instagram at Housing Program. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.
likely to be one of your biggest monthly or annual expense if you live in places like Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt. It may eat up a good chunk or even majority of your paycheck. How much of your income should be going towards your home? As a general rule, you have to spend no more than 30% of your monthly gross income in housing. Why 30%, you may ask? Those who spend more than 30% of their income on housing have historically been said to be cost burden. Those who spend more than 50% or more are considered severely cost burden. That is why Housing Development Program will keep advocating for affordable and low-cost housing for all. On that note, I say thanks for keeping a date with me. I remain your housing diva, Flora Ane. God bless Nigeria. Do stay safe.